What's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC. Today we're taking a look at my haul from a couple recent CountyComm orders. And if you're not familiar with CountyComm, basically they do procurement for a bunch of different government agencies. If the product doesn't exist on the market, they'll design and manufacture it themselves under one of their two in-house brands. And if it's something that exists, they are procuring and fulfilling those orders. And so you will see some recognizable brands in there as well. But in either case, they're selling the excess over on their website to the general public. And so did two separate orders. We're going to bookend it with knives. So we'll start with the knife, end with the knife, and show a bunch of other gear in between. So first order, I ordered the R4A, or Ready for Action. This is a beast of a fixed blade. You might have actually already seen this one on a community post because they actually did an introductory sale for this that lasted 48 hours. You can get this for $50, which is what I paid for it. And so knew it wouldn't be in here in time to make a video, so wanted as many people to get that introductory price as possible. So I just threw it in a community post. Hopefully you were able to take advantage of it if you want it. If you missed out on it though, these will be back in stock on February 1st. They just won't be at that same $50 price point. They're going to be $70 instead. Now I do have a coupon code that'll save you 10%, Uncommon EDC, all one word, helps out the channel, saves you a little bit of money. So definitely a win-win, but I'll leave that in the description as well as a link to anything I'm showing here. Now, this is 8.6 inches overall, 3.65 inches on that blade, so nice generous blade there. Got D2 steel, super thick blade stock. It goes all the way down with a nice flat grind, but I think it was 1.85 inches thick there. Nice aggressive jimping on the top that's really effective. And kind of the defining feature here is going to be those glow scales. And so it uses a UGM glow scale, so that's the same material that they use for a lot of their glow products, and it's a really bright glow. It lasts a long time. I think I did a short a long time ago comparing that glow to a couple other glow cards, and it was the longest lasting of the three. And so really nice glow off. Maybe I'll do a short on this one as well. It's not going to show up in video under this lighting very well, but maybe I'll do a short tonight on this one. But the handles are pretty flat. They're mounted with titanium hardware, and I never know with flat handles how comfy it's going to be. It's not as comfortable as it would be if you had rounded handles that really fill out the hand, but these ones are actually very comfortable. It's a pretty generous size handle and really nice shape to it, so really comfortable. I'm sure it would still be more comfortable if it had rounded handles, but it feels good in the hand. Now you have a little bit more jimping in this finger groove over here. You can see nice full tang construction here. Already mentioned the titanium hardware as well as a lanyard hole on the back. One other interesting thing about this knife is it is serialized. You can see I got number 121 out of 500. That Meritac is one of their in-house brands, the other one just being CountyComm, has that CountyComm Trident right next to it. And so this is a Max Madco design. They've worked with him in the past. I know the utility knife I have from them is designed by him, the scalpel blade, probably some other stuff that I'm not even thinking of, but I think they based this off of their breacher bar, and so wanted something with kind of a similar profile and carry as their breacher bar. Now, one thing about this knife is it is pretty heavy. It's a big chunk of steel, so naturally it weighs a decent bit. So 7.75 ounces, and that's before we even talk about the sheath. And so that's the knife alone at 7.75 ounces. Really nice sheath on this one. It's pretty minimal for the size. They didn't overdo it. There's not a lot of extra kydex here. A lot of different mounting options. It's single direction. You can see shaped to fit that knife facing one orientation. And it does come with the, I think this is called a track lock if I remember correctly. I may be misnaming that attachment point, but that does come installed. You can open that up by pressing on this button when it's unlocked, and it shows this grid pattern. So this is really versatile. Should mount on a ton of different kydex options that have these different attachment points because it has that grid of 9 different places you can place those screws. So really nice. Also has the spot for your belt, locks it in, and then once it's clipped, you can push this over so you don't accidentally unlock it, have that flopping around on your belt or falling off of your belt. And so really nice option. You can easily remove that, put an ulti clip if you want. You can neck carry this if you really want to, although it's extremely heavy for that. You can put some straps on there, do some scout carry. So a lot of different options when it comes to the sheath. I think it's a pretty nice sheath. The current configuration, this weighs in at 3.1 ounces, so bring the entire package to about 11 ounces, just a hair under 11 ounces. So it is going to be on the heavier side, but to be expected with a blade this size. Now, next up, I did another order just a couple days later because there was a bunch of new items on the site and a knife that I wanted to order. We'll end with the knife, show some of the miscellaneous gear first. So first item or items that I ordered is this reflective high-vis topo decals. And so hopefully those topos are showing up on camera. I can see that the reflective nature of it is showing up pretty well, but maybe not the topos. It looks like it's pretty visible on the white though. And so these are just reflective decals, exactly what they sound like. They come in a 10-pack. There's yellow, white, or red. They're not sold together. I bought 3 separate 10-packs. They're only $3.50 for the 10-pack. So to get 30 of these, it's $10.50, and you can get all 3 colors. Didn't have a specific use in mind, but there's always a use for reflective decals, so I'm sure something will come up. And I know if I didn't order it, as soon as it went out of stock, I would be like, oh, I could use some reflective decals, and then wouldn't have them. And so picked those up for $10.50 for the 3-pack or 3 10-packs. Next item I ordered was the SHTF Survivalist Fire Kit. If you're not familiar with what that stands for, SHTF stands for Shit Hits the Fan. So kind of marketed towards preppers, but perfectly fine for campers. In fact, Exotac makes a product very similar to this that is marketed towards campers, and so will work well in that capacity. Now, basically what this is, you unscrew it and it exposes a ferro rod that's being protected by that outer casing, lanyard hole or keychain attachment up top, so you can easily carry that with you. And once you unscrew it, you can actually screw this onto the backside to give yourself a generous handle for when you're striking. You can hold that a little bit further back and have a nice grip, a little bit nicer grip than if it were just an extended ferro rod itself. Now, one thing that this one's missing that the Exotac version has is the keychain attachment point on the Exotac actually screws off and has a hidden striker in there, and so that one comes with the striker. This one you're going to have to provide your own. Not the biggest deal in the world, and kind of worthwhile trade-off, I think, when you consider this one comes in at $7.95. I didn't price compare the Exotac, but if I remember correctly, that one's somewhere in the $25 to $30 range, and so giving up a striker but also saving yourself about $20. So really nice deal on this one. Couldn't pass that one up. I think that's a pretty new product. I don't remember ever seeing that before on the site, and it's just gonna roll around, which is fun. So we have up next is the Rapid Rescue Quick Release Hook, and this is for EMTs, medical personnel, to cut off clothing, cut seat belts, cut line, anything someone's like tangled up in. And the quick release, it's basically a button lock, or not a button lock, an automatic rescue hook. And so you can see it has that line cutter right here, as well as the serrated teeth to cut through basically anything you need to without giving you that tip. And so you can use it around a human skin without worrying about cutting them, but cutting whatever you need to cut. And also has this carabiner gate back here, so you can clip that to your belt loop, to your first aid kit, to your MOLLE webbing, backpack strap, whatever it is, and have it ready. Really nice with that rapid deployment, because in those situations you don't want to be fumbling around trying to open a tiny little rescue hook. This one, you can just press that button, comes flying out, and it's pretty safe. Even if it hits you when it comes flying out, there's no edge on the outer portion of that blade. And so really cool little tool. This one is only $11.95 as well. Don't know what the handle material it is. It feels honestly just like plastic, and it probably is. They may list that on the web listing, so I'll link to all these products in the description if you really want to check that out. But at $11.95, I figured I'd order one to throw on some MOLLE webbing on one of the first aid kits that I have. And so after that, ordered 2 of the same item, but in different materials, different sizes. I also happen to already have this item, which is funny, but again, different material, different sizes. So the first one is a titanium version, and this is their peanut lighter. This is kind of their standard size. Obviously, I already mentioned this is in titanium. $42.95, which feels a little bit pricey for a small lighter like this, but again, remembering those materials doesn't seem so bad, and it's kind of a cool alternative to a Zippo, because this screws off, so you don't get that satisfying click that you get with the Zippo, but there's an O-ring in there, meaning that your fuel is not going to evaporate nearly as quickly. It uses a similar wick and flint and even the same fluid as a Zippo, and so works really well. You can just blow it out when you're done. We'll be curious to see if any of this starts anodizing itself as you use it, because titanium will anodize with heat. I'm actually just going to set this one down. And so you can just pull this whole core out and then fill it up the exact same way as the Zippo. You can also see the Trident from CountyComm on the bottom here. So that's our standard size peanut. I also ordered their XL, but in brass this time. And so they have a copper one as well. They also have a lot of these in aluminum, which are going to be a little bit cheaper. This is the XL size. This is $49.95. And so same concept here. This one, the wick wasn't as frayed up, so I had to kind of pull it out a little bit and tinker with it a little bit, but same thing, put some fuel in there. You can see just lights up, almost dropped this and lit myself on fire. But easy to blow it out, or you could just cap it back up and screw that back on. Now, both of these come with a little split key ring on there, so you can put it on a keychain or remove that and carry it by itself. They also come with a consumables refill pack. So you get 5 wicks with each of them. Not sure why the wicks are different. It looks like one's a little bit slimmer, maybe, but one's black and one's brass also. And then you have an extra wick as well as 2 O-rings. So if that O-ring deteriorates or just falls off and gets lost, you can easily swap those out. And they came in these nice little vials. They used to sell these vials in a 10-pack. I don't know if they still do, but nice little vials to keep everything organized. So I've actually built a couple of these kits for Zippos with their wick influence with using the same vials, and so nice that these ones actually come with them. Now, just for reference, I don't remember the name of this size. It might be Pico. I know they have their Pico pool, so that might be where I'm getting that name from. But this is the smallest size, and this is one that I didn't purchase here. This was one I got in one of their Big Daddy VIP mystery swag packs. And so this one's aluminum with that green aluminum, looks really cool. Obviously a lot smaller. I haven't refilled this one recently, so I'm almost positive there's no fuel on it, but really small. It doesn't have a lot of storage capacity for that fuel. So this is one that can definitely go on your keychain, and you can see the attachment point's even a little bit different on this one. Go on your keychain. If you know you're only gonna need 1 or 2 lights, it'll stay in there without evaporating much longer than a Zippo. So if you're just, lighting birthday candles every once in a while or something like that, you can fill this up and just make sure it still has fuel every once in a while. Nice little option. But if you're like a smoker or something who's using your lighter constantly, this is not gonna have that many lights in it just due to the little amount of fuel. Now, last but not least is an exclusive for CountyComm. It's a collaboration with Boker, and this is their Tech Tool 2, I believe. Thank you, Slipjoint Sawyer, for pointing that out. Now, they have had it labeled as just EDC Slipjoint, but if you look at the Tech Tool 2, it looks like the same tool sets. And so this one, the difference, what makes it exclusive, is those dark ebony wood covers, and they look pretty nice. Not as nice as I was hoping, to be honest. These are $59.95. I'm hoping that as it gets a little bit worn off, we'll lose a little bit of the machining. So that's what kind of takes away from the overall appearance. Dark ebony is obviously a beautiful wood, and this one is just kind of covered by this machining pattern that's sitting over it. So really hoping that that'll just wear off in my pocket and it'll go to looking just like normal wood. We see a little bit more of the normal wood on the back pile cover here, but still not the best looking and not quite what I was hoping for. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're ordering this. I don't think it really looks exactly like the picture, but still a cool tool overall. We have the glass breaker on the back, which I could definitely live without, but it's on there and not super intrusive. It's not like there's a pocket clip or anything where this is going to be poking into your hand too often. We've got a blade, and the blade is in a different steel than the tools, which I think is pretty typical for Boker with these multi-tool options. And so on our blade, we have 12C27 and Sandvik steel. You can see this one's also serialized, although I don't know how many of this one there were. We have 0133, and so nice little blade on there. No half stop or anything, which is again pretty typical with these. And on the other side, we get our tool access, and the tools are a 4CR13. And so that's perfectly fine for obviously tool steel here. And we've got a couple different tools. This one's kind of interesting. We have the serrated blade, and it only opens that far. So it opens at this kind of weird angle. It's not a super large serrated blade, so if you need some serrations, it's there, but if not, you can use that main blade. We do have a small flathead screwdriver on the tip of that, so they made double utility there. Now, we also have a lanyard or keychain attachment hole here that flips out, so if you're not going to use it like I'm not, you can just tuck that away, out of sight, out of mind, but if you want it, you can keep it out. And so they're definitely counting that as a tool. I don't count it as a tool, but it is what it is. Now on the opposite side, all of these are nail nick deployment, no half stops. I think I already mentioned the no half stops, but I don't know that I mentioned the nail nick deployment. But pretty easy to access all of them. It's not like any of them are tucked in. None of them are pinchable though, which is again pretty typical here. And so over here we just have our cap lifter as well as our larger flathead screwdriver. And nice and snappy action on all these. The pull is pretty light overall, not bad though. It's a nice medium pull. They feel good, consistent and smooth, so happy about that. Now on the back side, on this pal side, along that back springs, where the springs for the rest of the tools are located, we do have a corkscrew. Now I don't get a lot of use out of a corkscrew, but nice corkscrew, T-shape, and would have preferred seeing a Phillips head here, but that's really just me being nitpicky because I don't use corkscrews all that often. But if you're someone who uses it, nice to have that there and nice use of that excess space. Overall, a pretty cool tool though. I am really hoping that I can get that ebony wood looking a little bit better. Maybe I do some sanding myself just to get rid of that machining, but cool tool overall. I'll link to all of these in the description. Would love to hear your thoughts on what I picked up, if there's anything I missed. Obviously, I have a ton of CountyComm gear already. I've done a ton of these videos even before I was affiliate. I've been shopping with them for probably 15 years or so. So I have a lot of what they have, but they're constantly releasing new stuff, including right after I ordered this, I went to check the pricing on some of these items for my notes, and I saw a bunch of new products, and I was like, oh, man, I might need to do a third order. But thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, definitely like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification. Check out the live show that I do with Tim over at Tim's School of Fish every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central. 2 episodes have already aired. Next week we have Ben Belkin of Jack Wolf Knives, so definitely check that out. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have a great one. Take care.